Well, good morning, Lightning fans. Nice to see this after what we saw last year from Tampa Bay in Toronto after Game 1. Last year, a 5-0 loss. This year, a 7-3 victory. One of the worst losses the Maple Leafs have ever suffered at home in the playoffs. And for a franchise, by the way, that has lost 6 straight rounds in the playoffs, have not seen a first-round victory since 2004, losing 7-3 out of the gates when everyone has you as the favorites against the 3-time Eastern Conference champions, that's pretty bad. People are going to be roasting them all day today. Let's discuss why the game got out of hand. First, the start from the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were ready to play from the jump. They got Pierre-Edouard Bellemare and Anthony Cirelli to score a couple of goals. Those two combined for 15 on the season. I mean, they entered the second period up 3-0. That 5-on-5 game was fantastic. The only thing was we didn't really get to see much of it throughout the contest because the special teams really dominated. And it's worth mentioning that for the first time in close to 40 years, we have a playoff matchup that features two teams that were north of 25% on the power play. And it showed in this matchup. Toronto went 2 of 4, and the Lightning went 4 of 8. All right? 11 of 18 skaters scored for the Lightning. They scored 4 power play goals. And Steven Stamkos had 0 points. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign for this team moving forward. I do want to say that they're also the 4th team since 1995 to score 7 or more goals in a playoff opener. That has not been done since the Penguins in 2000. So a lot to like. John Cooper even said that after the game. Corey Perry reiterated that, who had 3 points, 7 shots from him. He went back into the time machine last night. But the big concern, of course, are the injuries with this team. Victor Hedman leaves after the first period. John Cooper, after the game, wasn't really comfortable commenting on the injury, such as any professional hockey coach. But we are curious if this has to go back to the back issue that he suffered back in Carolina earlier in the season. Now, when he hurt that, he only missed a game. And that was probably for precautionary reasons, too. Kind of woke up, felt a lot better, but it just locked up on him. So we wonder if it's that resurfacing. As for Mikey Eyssimont and Erik Cernak, both of them, we think, went into concussion protocol. And we think that Michael Bunting is probably looking at a suspension after rocking Erik Cernak with a dirty hit. So we have to monitor what happens with those 3 guys. We know that Tanner Jeannot is day-to-day. He might be able to insert himself back into the lineup. We also know that the Bolts made a healthy scratch of Zach Bogosian and Hayden Fleury. So if anything was wrong with Victor Hedman or Erik Cernak, those 2 guys would be inserted into the lineup. Obviously not ideal. The Leafs lost. They played a backyard brawl, and they did take away some big players from the Lightning. So you wonder if the Bolts win the battle and not the war. But you have to be worried for where Toronto is mindset-wise versus now Tampa Bay, where they get to have home ice advantage throughout the playoffs. Remember, these 2 teams will play again tomorrow, and then we'll see the Lightning return home to Amalie Arena on Saturday, where now home ice advantage, as I mentioned, is with the Bolts. So, if we learned anything from last year, goals don't carry over. Be ready for a marathon in this series.